So here's my quick thoughts on GAB Gabelli. The first thing I noticed is it had a nice run the past, what is this, about a month and some change, or a month. So it bottomed, the low for the year is what, 483, 52-week low. So it's rebounded from that pretty nicely. As you can see, let's see, the 52-week low was a nice area of support. Going back to this 52 weeks, going back a year, it got right in the zone where it was at last year, and immediately bounced up. You know, it spent maybe one day on the lower level of this zone, and then buyers, you know, reacted and decided, hey, you know, it's time to buy. So right around here, spent some change going up without much pullback. You had small dips right here, another dip right here, minor, but in the grand scheme of things, this bounce from what, 484-ish, and this, what, 619 or so. That's a good 27.62% move in about a month. So that's pretty good. So it's definitely time for a pullback. Of course, the major question is when. As I dial it back some, let's go further back. Let's go 20 years or max. We go all the way back. We have to, yeah, this, let me see. Let's activate drawing. Let's go all the way back here. See, every time it got in this area, it would react. This is dating back to 09, between 2009 2010. It had trouble getting above it, but it hung around. And once it did get above it, you know, old resistance typically becomes new support. So, you know, it hung around, kept bouncing off the $5 mark. And this is what, back in 2010, 2012 over here. So for years, the $5 area is a good psychological buying or selling point for this particular stock. So fast forward to today, like I was saying, it got in this $5 area. Psychologically, buyers knew, okay, it's time to jump in. You know, when it was bullish, you know, when it was a bullish stock dating back before October of last year, when it came down, buyers knew, oh, $5, time to buy. And then once sellers got in control, they had to really take charge to discourage all the bulls. And this action over here, well, you know, this is irrelevant. So let's go back to more of today, and what we can see from today, this 200-day moving average, if we break it down closer to a year time frame, this 200 moving average, a lot of big institutions use this as a buying and selling guide. So when the stock gets to the 200 period moving average, that's going to probably provide a pause like it did right here. Let me see. See right here. Oops. The 200 period moving average is the white line right here. So right here, the stock comes up, hits this white line, and then pulls down. Okay. So I imagine as we get closer to this white line, it's going to provide another area of pause, especially given the run ahead. I think the bulls are probably going to start getting exhausted at this area. So the 200, you know, is going to act as a little bit of resistance, more than likely. Like I said, big institutions use this as a tool. So also another thing to note, if I remember, the S&P is moving with the S&P lately. So a strong S&P, let me go to S. Yeah, S&P had a nice little, well, not as nice, but this is the S&P, and the stock bounced same time the S&P bounced. So the S&P is going to play a factor as well. This is moving stronger than the S&P, but nonetheless it's still moving in the same direction. Let's see. Now here's another thing I see off the bat right here. Stock is currently bearish at the moment. Intermediate term is bearish. So this red line is another inflection point. So this whole area here could be, I'm gonna say all of this right here. Oops. From 660 to where it's at now, this whole area is gonna provide a bit of resistance to get above this. So the first pullback, if it doesn't happen now, and the first pullback I imagine probably head down to about 575-ish. But if it doesn't, and it continues to run up, I think we should see some more. I'm pointing out all the resistance areas. So remove drawing. Notice how every time it tries to go up here, it gets shot down. It runs up here, gets shot down. So if it runs up to 660, I think it's going to get shot down again. Now this, I feel more strongly about the 660, 650, 660 area than I do about some other areas I pointed out. To make it a bit more clear, let's do it like this. So this is a sell zone. If it gets up here, sellers are probably going to step in and bring this puppy down. But again, it's got to get above this red line, and then it's got to get above the 200. Now the 200 is going to continue to fall shortly, so this stock can hang around day after day, and then this 200 also is coming down to meet the stock, and if that happens, then that's just going to provide more resistance, and you're more likely to see a pullback. But again, the first pullback, I'm looking. I think a buy opportunity is going to be about a decent buy opportunity. I mean, there can be others along the way, but a buy opportunity around 575. And let's zoom back. Let's go back I just want to take a quick look at 15 years. Yeah, let's go ahead and see how this area acts. So if I go all the way back, 15 years. Yeah, this is definitely, you can see, you could definitely see that this area, well, you probably can't, but I can. This area is historically 660, 650, 660 historically for this stock. Buyers and sellers, like, there's some good activity there. So this is 2018. And you can see in 2018, it's been quite a bit of time struggling to get above 660. And then, what year is this? 2020, it flashed above it, couldn't sustain it, so it came back down, hung around, and then the bulls finally took over in 2021, it looks like. But that run, it didn't pull away too far though. It peaked at what, 750, so yeah, 750. I mean, it doesn't seem to have much profit, a profit window. 750 was all it ran to. Let's go to a maximum. Oh yeah. Yeah, so this thing can run. It was up in it as high as 14 or 1350 back in the 80s. So it's got some running opportunity, or possible it could run. But looking at a closer time frame, this bounce was a pretty good bounce from the 52-week lows. So it's bound to get exhausted unless there's some great news. It's bound to get exhausted and halt or slow down around this 650, 660. If it doesn't already do that by when it hits 200 period moving average. So long story short, buying opportunity to me probably be around 575-ish, as you can see here. $575, $572. That's a stock. Maybe retraces. It goes up some more, and then maybe retrace around here, and that should be the area to look to buy. This area, buy here, and hopefully it can just sustain this. Sustains 575 and work its way up to at least 750, but that's going to take some time. This stock doesn't move all that much, so it can be years before it breaks above $8. But let's just hypothetically, let's say it really wants to be bullish. You know, it's gonna pretty much tap out around here. 720, 750 up here. So the market has to be really bullish, I think, for this stock to even just reach this area. To reach this area, the market has to be really bullish, and some really good news needs to be coming from the stock, because this stock doesn't move too good. But with the right amount of shares, you can make some money. It's got some decent swings if you got a lot of shares. But yeah, that's not a lot to see here. So yeah, see if any news is. Oh yeah, there's a horizontal trend line showing every time it hits this horizontal resistance, boom, sell off, boom, sell off, boom, hits it again, sell off. And we're at that horizontal line, so could another sell off come? Possibly. As you can see, it's been 1, 2, 3 days just hanging around, so I think it's time for it to pull back some, but you never know with the market. Yeah, I don't see much recent news, so you must got some insider information or something. But yeah, that's just a quick look off the fly.